Evening, everyone. Thank you for typing into the chat your key takeaways and what you're struggling with at the minute. Glad everyone seems to have got a lot out of yesterday, and hopefully you're starting to understand that, simple is often quite good, and, imperfect action is better than no action. So excited for today. This is probably going to frighten quite a lot of you because I'm going to talk about getting on video. And I know people will probably be going, I hate video. Please don't get me on video. But, we live in a game now where it's people buy from people. And if, we can deliver a message like we wrote last night. And by the way, everybody that's put their stuff into the 7-figure group, I think I've seen most of them. I've tried to apply to most of them. I think there's some fantastic efforts on there. Every single one of them was, great first drafts. Some people nailed it first time. Some people just needed tiny little tweaks, but that's marketing, right? And that's obviously what we do to get you better as well. So it's always a learning journey, this, and it'll always change. But everyone that took action, well done to you. Because you will be the game changers. You will be the ones that make a difference in your business. Every time you go on a training, if you take action afterwards and you go straight into implementation, it starts to form habits, and that mental toughness comes from it. So tonight is talking about video, and but there is a purpose to doing the videos, and this is going to help you speed up the content, which I'll come on to tomorrow. And I want to just talk about 21 videos that you can put together to attract different audiences. And, because whilst we've got our marketing posts from yesterday, they are good for maybe somebody that knows you and maybe someone that can relate to you and is in the game, but maybe someone that's not and you're a cold audience, you might need something a bit different. So that's kind of what I'm going to go over today. And as always, I'll take some questions at the end. So, if you want to pop them in the chat as we go, feel free, but we'll come on to them at the end if you want to save them up, and we'll get on them then. So cold, warm and hot videos. And hot videos, I do mean hot videos and not the other type of hot videos. But so in an ideal world, what you want is a simple structure. You don't need to spend fortunes putting your kit together at the start. As you get more advanced, as you get more into your marketing, you might, start doing more on equipment. But for now, smartphone with a stand, those flexi stands are fantastic. Some stage lighting, you'd be surprised how cheap they actually are. And one of the main things is a microphone. So a lapel microphone that plugs into your iPhone. The sound quality of videos is far greater when you're using a microphone. And I would advocate getting this equipment if you want to sort of take it to the next level. Just so everyone is aware, I will be putting the slide deck in the training on Friday as part of one of the smaller gifts to give you guys. So everybody that's there on Friday will get all the content that I've gone through this week in the PowerPoint. So you'll have it all. Now, cold videos, this is kind of how you will write your scripts out, and then your scripts, you then go into shooting videos. Now, I remember the first time I went on a video, and especially a live video, it is quite a daunting thing, and you say a lot, and you don't realize how often you say and it does actually need a bit of training to get it out. I still say it quite a lot now, and I do shoot a lot of videos, but if you're conscious about it and you know what you're doing, it will come out of your system. And the great thing about what we're going to do with the repurposing of the videos is we can get rid of those for your marketing. So don't be too afraid, just let it flow. I'm quite lucky that I can shoot a video off a title 9 times out of 10, and I don't really need to work off a script. That hasn't really been something I've had to perfect. I'm just very lucky in the fact someone can give me a title and I can just go talking. But some people I know, and this goes for Hollywood actors, they need a script to go off, and they've got to learn it, they've got to memorize it, and then they go and shoot it in stages. So everybody will be different, and you've just got to kind of figure out what works for you. So cold videos, these are sort of 5 or 6 different options that you can go through, and I'm going to run through them and give you some ideas. If you want to take a screenshot of this now so you can get straight at it tonight, then please feel free to just take a screenshot of it. But what we're going to do in a code video is how to result in a certain time frame without the thing you hate. Okay. Another one might be a number of quick tips to a result that you want to generate. You know, why I don't, an activity that most people do. And then the famous person's name ones, these are great for getting engagement. So famous person's name, topic, what is it called? Help me get the result. And then the final one is why, an undesired outcome. So if we just break this into an example, I think I did this around rent to rent. So yeah, so if we look back at how to result in a time frame, so how to rent your property is the result, in 24 hours is the time frame, and without the thing you hate doing, hours without an estate agent. Although a lot of landlords do like estate agents, a lot of landlords don't like estate agents, and you know, they don't really feel like they get value for money for what they offer. So how to rent your property in 24 hours without an estate agent. I actually think someone wrote this as their hook for one of their posts, so, or very similar to it. So whoever that was, well done. You know, straight out the gate, talking to a cold audience. The next one, 5, so a number of quick tips to the result you want to generate. So 5 quick tips to rent in your house ASAP. And then naturally your video would then go into talking about 5 quick tips on how you could do that. Same with the first video, you'd go into how to rent your property in 24 hours without an estate agent. Now, in terms of video length, YouTube videos, for example, should range between 7 and 13 minutes. So that is kind of the time frame that you need to talk about on a YouTube video. If you want to do a Facebook marketing video, you want it to be short and punchy, something sub 2 minutes, I would say. And if you want to do Instagram videos, you want to try and again stay under that 2-minute mark, possibly even condense it down a bit further. IGTV does allow you to go over where you can watch more. So if you wanted to repurpose some stuff, which we're going to talk about tomorrow, we can. But just be mindful of the time frames that you're trying to talk to, and you don't need to be talking for hours. Keep it punchy and, you know, get to the points. Next one, why, and then the activity most people do. So why I don't need an estate agent to rent a house. So naturally, anybody that's cold in terms of just seeing your profile or your post for the first time, they come across, you know, why I don't need an estate agent to rent a house. If they use estate agents to rent their houses out, naturally that's going to spark their interest, and hopefully they'll watch the video, or as I'm going to show you tomorrow, read the post, view the picture, all that sort of good stuff. Now then we've got the famous person's topic's name. Why does this work? This works incredibly well because if you choose the right people, so in my case here, we've got, you know, Phil and Kirsty's Homes Under the Hammer. Everybody in property knows about that show. Martin Lewis Money Show. Again, everybody knows him. And, you know, we're using them as leverage to be able to pique interest. You know, if someone posted, you know, Grant Cardone's, you know, multifamily real estate business, you know, a lot of people that resonate with Grant Cardone would then naturally want to start watching. He's got an audience of however many multi-millions, and, you know, they're going to get eyeballs on your stuff as well. So it's been clever in how you can hook people in with using people that are already influencers in the market already. And then the final part of it is kind of what it's called and how it helped me to get results. So I actually did a video on this, which is somewhere probably on my YouTube, of how Rob Moore's multiple streams of income saved my business through COVID. You know, so I did a play on his book. I used him as the influencer, and then I started talking about how he went into my COVID. If you want to watch that video, it's absolutely terrible quality. Some of the stuff on my YouTube channel, you know, it's the first draft, right? And you get better and better and better as you do it. And just remember that, okay? Imperfect action is better than no action. You know, they were shot with no microphones. I was probably looking at a script because I thought I had to, and, you know, eyes were all over the place, and, you know, but you get better at it, you get more comfortable at it, but you can only do that if you do more and more and more of it. And then what I'm going to show you tomorrow is going to bring home the importance and how quick you can get content when you actually get things onto video. So, so that's kind of 7 cool videos that you can shoot. Obviously, you can go into this in a million different ways. You know, that is the framework that you need. You can choose a topic. So go, service accommodation, or you want to choose a topic around your service. I think one of the things I did notice from a couple of the posts were they didn't really tell me what service was being offered. Now, the posts are not intended to pitch. Okay, they're not intended to pitch, because that's like what I call douchebag marketing. If you're just pitching all the time, what you want to do is you want to be talking about your service so people clearly know what you do, but in a way that relates to them. And then if they're ready, they'll put the hand up and they'll ask you for help, and that's good marketing. 80% of your should just be free informational type of stuff that you're putting out there, and then 20% of it is a direct pitch or a direct call to action to get them to do something. So, but the 80% that you're putting out there, you will get a lot of people throughout that phase of that 80% of content actually raise their hand and say, could I have some more information about what you're talking about, please? Even though you haven't naturally asked for a straightforward, reach out of buy this or go here and get that, that they will naturally put their hands up and say, is there any chance I could have some help? So that's kind of why we're doing this. And the more content you get out there in the various different formats, the more chance you've got of, all we're doing is casting a net out into the property world, the landlord world, the estate agent world, the developers world, whatever it might be. And based on our cold, warm, or hot video, we will then capture the right people, because some people out there are going to be cold in terms of they don't really know who you are, never heard of you. Some people are going to be warm, who've maybe, entered your world, entered your business, heard of you maybe once or twice before. And then you've got your hot potentials, who are people that have, sometimes we sat in your world for 6-7 months before they reach out and say, I need some help, or I like what your service you're offering. Can you tell me a bit more about it? And sometimes it just takes that piece of content to get them over the line, but they've been watching you for quite some time. So that's cold videos and how we produce those. In terms of warm videos, so how to Vision of Heaven Island. So the number of lessons, a group of people. So that's creating the sort of influencer type, that people like to do what other people have done. We are, you hear the saying, you're a shepherd or you're a sheep. There's a lot more sheep in this world than there are shepherds. So a lot of people will follow a crowd. So how did the number one lessons a group of people learn in an activity too late? Number of minutes for the next number of years of your life. That's a bit of a rant. Percentage of you will ignore this in your, and then a topic. The ultimate advice for every demographic. Unconventional action is good for the result you want to achieve. So if we break this down and staying on the kind of rent to rent topic, so we've got how to Vision of Heaven Island. So Heaven Island is obviously the ultimate thing that they want to do. So how to rent your property tomorrow with no fees. Pretty straightforward, quite punchy. Somebody that's been maybe flirting around your world for a while is on that. They've got a property to rent and they're interested in doing it with no fees as quick as possible. Next one is the number of lessons a certain group of people learn in a certain activity too late. So in our world, that looks like the 8 lessons landlords learn in property too late. And then you would go into, the various lessons. For me, that would be, wasting time with tenants, maintenance issues taken over, having bad estate agents, not checking properties, all that sort of stuff, so you can kind of, frame it how you need it to. Next one, 5 or number of minutes for the next number of years of your life. So 5 minutes for the next 30 years of your life, a rant. So this is where you would literally go on a rant on a video, just literally blow off steam, go off topic, So for me, I genuinely am surprised when a landlord chooses a tenant over the service I offer them for a rent-to-rent deal. It absolutely blows my mind why any landlord would want that service. Tenants these days have got so much power. The landlords are getting shafted. The margins are crap. They damage your houses. So for me, when they choose that over my service of cleaning the property twice a week, giving them as much rent as they need for the next however long they want it for, keeping their properties in showroom condition, it just blows my mind. So I could quite easily do a 5-minute rant on that, and potentially you know, that's something that they could have for the next 30 years of their life. As long as it works for me as a business model, I'm going to keep it as long as I can. You know, a tenant stays on average 14 years. So as you can tell, I can rant on that all day. But that's a great video, you know, and anybody that was watching it would feel the passion come through, and they'd then more than likely think, well, actually, this guy does sound like he knows what he's talking about. He's very passionate about it, and then want to engage further in that service with me. So percentage of you will ignore this in upcoming year topic. So always a high figure, 95, 97, 93, whatever of you will ignore this in 2020. Why landlords are renting to the wrong people time and time again. You know, so the play on words there is that, you know, anyone reading that's going to be like, well, I don't want to be the 95% that ignore this, so I'm going to read it. And then obviously we've got the topic that if it resonates with them, they're going to watch the video. The ultimate advice for every demographic. So the ultimate rental advice for every landlord, fairly straightforward there. And then final one, which is an unconventional action. So something that's not conventional, obviously, is good for the result you want to achieve. So why renting to a tenant is not good for your bank account. You know, quite hits home there for anybody that's just been an AST landlord for the last 20 years. You know, someone's telling them that renting to tenant's not good for their bank account. I'm sure they would have an opinion against that. So they'd probably more than likely watch the video, and then you'd go into your services. So hopefully you start to see here how we can put some videos together and get a lot of great content, which is going to start penetrating different avatars and bring more people into your world, and hopefully generate more leads and generate more business. Final ones is your hot videos. So the fastest way to an undesired outcome, how to solve common objections, even if you are objection. With the hot videos, what I would suggest to do is write down the 7 most common objections you get when speaking about this topic that you're writing about, and that they should try and come out here a bit. So this is for hot videos. They're in your world. They've been following you for a while, but they've obviously still got some objections about working with you. So what could they be? List them out, and you want to try and talk them through these videos, because naturally if they see a video, they're going to watch it because they already know who you are. So it's now trying to really talk to those objections and get them, get them out of the way, so you can actually do business together. So the fastest way to undesired objections, how to solve it on that one. They say vehicle name is expensive. What if strategy name doesn't work? Vehicle name for personality type, and then a topic testimonial. So starting with the first one, the fastest way to blowing money as a landlord. You know, any landlord's going to be quite interested in that video, especially if they've been watching you a while. And then obviously you can talk about whatever you feel fits that title. Next one is how to solve a common objection. So the common objection is tenancy voids. So how to solve tenancy voids. Even if you are 3 objections. So even if you are scared of change, comfortable, or skeptical. The main reasons why landlords do not engage with rent-to-renters, you know, they're scared of change, they're quite comfortable with their financial position, or they're quite skeptical about the service that you might be offering out of their properties. You know, so then you can go into that. If the landlords are, you know, saying that in their own head, and then they see that video title, then they might start, you know, wanting to watch the video, and that's all we're trying to get them to do here. Why something now? Why the topic now? So why you need to take a rent guarantee now? So again, quite punchy, you know, quite a good hook. And by the way, you don't all have to use these. These are just what I've put together. So the main thing is using the bits in the brackets and putting your own words in there, and then you'll come up with so many different titles. Like you can create hundreds and hundreds, thousands of different video titles using this formula. It's the formula that you've got to kind of stick to. So why they say being a landlord is expensive. So they say being a landlord is expensive. If a landlord is currently experiencing, you know, voids or high maintenance bills, or, you know, maybe they've just been paying out a bit of money lately for whatever reason on their properties, naturally that video is going to attract their attention. What if rent guarantee doesn't work? So what if strategy name doesn't work? Most people are hearing the words rent guarantee. I actually don't like using the word anymore because I don't think it means anything, but it is still a tagline. It's a bit like Airbnb have attached themselves to serviced accommodation. You know, everybody says Airbnb and you know instantly what they're doing. Whereas you say serviced accommodation and some people look like, you know, like you've got 3 heads. But This is the same with rent guarantee. Most landlords understand what rent guarantee is now because it was pitched so heavily over the last few years. But a quick sort of sales tip, I wouldn't actually use it to pitch going forward, which I don't think it means anything, but it's a great title for your video to be able to hook them in. Rent guarantee for old school landlords is the next one. So vehicle name, obviously that's rent guarantee. And for a personality type, old school landlords, they're the ones that we always struggle to get to, go through that change. And they're so comfortable with what they've been doing for the last, 15, 20 years that they don't want to explore something different, even if it is better for them. And then the final one is a testimonials. So, how we have helped dozens of landlords escape the tenant hassle. And then you would actually probably, back that up with some testimonials as well. So whether it's just you reading the testimonials out on video, or whether you actually, do a bit of video editing and you cut people actual testimonials into your video as well. So that is, that's the structure of how you will record your videos and how you'll create your titles for the videos. Now, a couple of things to really help with the talking points of your videos. The first one, if you look at it from a customer's point of view, or so who we want to buy our services or engage in our services, the customer's point of view is motivational led. Talk to their motivation, talk to their fears. Universals is the group of people that they kind of connect with, that they may socialize with, that they sort of, want to follow in that sheep sort of herd type following, and then the main objections that they might have. So when we're writing, talking about the customer, we want to be picking one of those 4 points or multiple of them. And then in terms of you can talk about your transformation and your successes. You can squeeze that into the videos. You can talk about your objections and your struggles. So, you could talk about how you've, struggled at the beginning to get landlords to understand the benefits of the service, but and you went through all the different objections. It got you down because you truly believed that it was the best service that they could have. They were leaving money on the table, and you just felt like you were doing a disservice to them because you couldn't make them understand. And then one day it all came together, and then you go into your transformation and your successes, and then you start talking about how you've transformed and made the landlords more successful, etc., etc. So you can kind of mix all this stuff together to make some great videos and make them really powerful and make them engaging. Strengths and beliefs as well, so, what are your strengths as a company, as you as a person, and what do you believe in as well, because I think that's hugely important to get across, because in this game, people buy from people. I cannot stress that enough. So you need to, what video does is it allows people to really resonate with that person and say, I'm definitely not working with them. And there's plenty of people like that, or there's plenty of people that I really like what this person's saying, and I really resonate with what they're saying, and they come across well and professional, and and video gets that out there. Whereas no matter how good your posts are written or how good a nice picture is with a caption, it's not as powerful as a video. If you want my prediction, I think sort of video and YouTube marketing in the next 5 years will become almost the only channel people will be marketing on. I think your text-based and your picture-based marketing will change. In the next 5 years, I would almost say that every single post on Instagram will be a video of various different lengths. And I think YouTube will go onto Instagram. That's kind of my prediction. We'll see if it plays off it. But I do think there's going to be there already is a huge shift, to YouTube. I mean, just think about, if you go onto Google and how do I, take that top bottle off a Volvic bottle, and you don't know how to do it, you'd go bang, 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 and you'd probably go and click on video and watch a video, not read an article. So, that shift is happening. You need to get involved in that shift. You need to get comfortable on video. And you need to start delivering, high content videos, because it will serve your business. Trust me, it really will make a massive impact to your business, and you'll get some huge results from it. So tonight's task, I want you to shoot at least one video, and you can pre-record it, or if you're really brave, you can go live. And I want you to put it in the 7-Figure Property Empire Facebook group. So that's your task for tonight. And remember, imperfect action is better than no action. In my 7-Figure Property Empire group, it is a community where we support each other. do not be afraid of going into there and posting that video. Everyone in there supports each other, and that's why it's an awesome community, and that's why you can use that as your testing ground, and you can post as many videos as you want. Again, I'm going to watch them. I'll comment on a few, and I'll try and get back to you all if I can, but I will be watching them. And you never know, I might be stealing some of the ideas and shooting them for myself. But I want you to get comfortable on video, and that starts tonight. So if you're not comfortable, it starts tonight. Doesn't matter if you haven't got your makeup on or you haven't done your hair. Talking to the boys there, by the way. You've got to shoot your videos. It doesn't really matter. Right now, we're living in a world of sweats. We've lived in them for the past year, so it's all right to look casual these days. So that's that for tonight. I will take questions now if anybody does have any, and I can see you're all running scared, so I don't want you to. I want you to make sure you shoot some good videos. It really is it's a great tool when you use it, and when you understand what you can do with it tomorrow, you will be very engaged in shooting videos, because you all wrote one post yesterday, and I'm sure the thought of writing 60, 70, 80, 90 of them, I did see someone in the comment before say they haven't got time to put it together. It is quite a tedious task. With videos, what I'm going to show you tomorrow, videos can accelerate your content, and it can blow your content up so much, and then we'll repurpose it in various different ways. So there's going to be loads of ways we can do that tomorrow, and I'm excited to bring that to you. But tonight is the next step. So we've kind of covered the content step, which is getting the creation mind flow going. Tonight is getting the bravery mind flow, getting the bravery going, and getting on video and shooting those videos. And then tomorrow I'm going to show you how we can put both of them together and multiply the content. At the end of the day, this was all about creating a year's worth of content in 48 hours, and each part of the puzzle leads us on to the next part of the puzzle. So let's go. What's the ratio of cold warm hot videos, please? Listen, go for it. Just go for it. I post videos all the time. We just mix it up. Like everything, you test it. So there probably is no ratio. I guess the ratio would come down to your marketing channels. So, for example, most people only find my website when they are engaged in my world. So I probably wouldn't want to put a cold video on my website. I'd probably want to put a warm or a hot video on my website. So whereas let's say in my Facebook group, they're probably, warm and hot as well, because, they've kind of come into my world. YouTube, I will mix it up, because, I get a lot of cold people in there who come from just tags and searches to also warm and hot clients as well. So, you've got to mix it up, and it just depends on where you are, what you're putting it into, and you'll kind of get a good feeling for that. But at this stage, I would just get it out there, because a hot client might still watch a cold video, and there'll be no downside effect on that. But a cold client watching a hot video, it might be a bit too far into not understanding who you are at that stage to be able to then, resonate. So it's just a case of working with your channels and your avatars, and that's another whole side of marketing, is understanding what they are and where to post. But for now, just post them out there, and you'll be able to tell if your engagement, whether you've got the right video for the right audience. What would you use in your marketing instead of rent guarantee, rent maximize? Yeah, rent maximization is kind of what I'm reframing rent guarantee as. Would you do videos direct into groups or simply on your own profile? Listen, marketing, there's no wrong place to put marketing. What I'm going to teach you tomorrow is that we will end up putting this all over every single channel that you can possibly put it into, over a period of time. And then you use the good content and you put it into more channels, and you repurpose it again and put it into more channels, or even put it back on the same channels. Hands up here if you can remember a post from last week on Facebook on someone else's profile. You could post the same content every week if you really wanted to, because no one remembers. After about 24, 48 hours, it's like, it's like yesterday's newspaper, as they used to say. those feeds go quickly these days, you know, and there's so much content that we're getting hit with. So you've got to stand out, but you've got to be able to, you know, get the content out there. And unfortunately, that's why we have to create masses of content, because, you know, it was one newspaper a day, 7 days a week. Now it's like, God knows how many pages of posts and posts and posts a day on every single group and profile and Facebook page and YouTube video. And, you know, the amount of content that goes out there into the world each day is, I don't know how many times more than when just newspapers were alive. So think about that, is how much you need to level your marketing game up if you want to start penetrating. Hopefully, you know, most of you in here are kind of in my hourglass warm and sort of hot container, and you will see how much content I put out, you know, not just for, you know, my profile stuff, but also for Luke Holmes as a business, you know, and everything that we do in the groups, in other people's groups. We are producing a lot of content, and we just scratch the surface, you know. So if you want to do this and you want to penetrate, you've got to put a lot of content out there. So hopefully that hits home but doesn't put you off too much, because, you know, you have got a lot of work to do, and, you know, if you want to penetrate the market, then, you know, it is really important that you get enough content out there. So that's it for tonight. Videos in the group, don't let me down. I know you can all do it, and, you know, remember, imperfect action is better than no action. And I'll see you back here for 7 o'clock tomorrow night, and I'm going to show you how we can multiply content. And then on Thursday, I'm going to show you my content machine, which is the system and process behind all of this, which is going to really be the game changer for you before we then move into Friday, which is going to be the ultimate game changer. So have a nice evening, everyone. I hope it's been enjoyable, and I will see you back here tomorrow at 7 o'clock.